Hello YouTubes, and welcome to my next Let's Play, Final Fantasy 1 for the Game Boy Advance. I'm not going to play this Final Fantasy 2, which is also included, for now anyway. It's also called Dawn of Souls, this compilation, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. I love this game. Final Fantasy 1 was the first game I really played, the first RPG anyway, when I was about 5 years old. But not this one that came out in 2004. The one on the original NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, way back in the day that I used to play with my old paw, and really shaped my gaming experiences. Got me hooked on RPGs, and I still am to this day. The reason I'm playing the Final Fantasy 1 for the Game Boy Advance specifically, and not the NES one, is although I've played the original NES version probably hundreds of times actually. I've played it with tons of configurations, I've soloed it with each different character. I know it inside and out. But basically, I kind of figured Let's Playing that game would be a little slow and boring, like without save states and frame skipping, speed up. I think it would really take a long time. It'd be a lot of boring parts I'd either have to cut out or just slowly grind through. So I went with this one, which is, I consider it a really good remake. Much better graphics and vastly improved musics. Some changed gameplay that we'll go over as we get to it. But the music's awesome. Nobuo really outdid himself, I think. The little Game Boy Advance speakers don't do it justice. Luckily, the emulator can try to make up for some of that. So hopefully you can hear some of these amazing tracks. And hopefully this Let's Play will go through a little quicker than the original would have. It is actually much easier, so difficulty is not an issue anymore. So, with that intro out of the way, let's get to it. Final Fantasy 1 Advance. If I can remember the controls. So yeah, you can play. You can look at the bestiary, and you can play both of the first two games. Now, if you're not in the know, Final Fantasy 2, this is not the Super Nintendo one. That's the original NES one that, well, it's the remake of the Final Fantasy 2 for NES that was never released originally in North America. So it's not the one with Cecil. All right, so let's get to it. That's our fancy updated logo, and play a new game, of course. Now, yes, I've played this a lot, so all the save slots are loaded up, but I don't mind overwriting them. So anyway, you get to make your own party, which is, still, I kind of wish the newer games did this to some degree. You got 6 different classes. Fighters are your tanks, lots of armor and pretty good weapons. Thieves are, well, they don't really steal anything, I guess, in this game, but they're quick, I guess, so they can wear a little bit of armor, use some good weapons, and they're very evasive. Monks are just punching people to death for the most part. They end up with okay defense, but they have the best attack power, essentially, once you get leveled up. Well, nearly the best, I'll give them. Red mages are your jack of all trades. They can use some weapons, some armor, some white magic, some black magic. I don't really like them. They don't get great stats or anything, and they can't use the best spells or the best weapons, so as a general rule, not really my style. White mages, healing, they're almost more like clerics from D&D. They can dish out some damage with their hammers, so that's kind of cool. And then black mages for just pummeling stuff with attack magic. So essentially, when you're making a party, you could probably get through the game with almost any combination, especially in this version, but even in the original one you could if you wanted. But for ease of play, I would always recommend one warrior, or if I call them a fighter, that's because what they were called in the original game. The way the game works is that the top slot gets the most attacks on them from enemies, and then the further down you are, the less likely they are to be hit by enemies. So the guy in the top needs to tank the most damage. If you put someone else there, they'll have a bit of a hard time, or you have to heal them more or something. These guys do the best. Now, I also recommend bringing a white mage if you want to do the bonus dungeons for this game. They get the best group healing spells, and you pretty much need them. Again, you could probably get through it without it if you wanted, but this will definitely make it a lot easier. So those two, you gotta have a warrior, you gotta have a white mage to make it easy. By the same token, a black mage, if you bring one, they get the best full damage spells and stuff, and the highest intelligence. And in this game, contrary to the first game, your intelligence stat improves your spell damage. In the first game, it didn't make a difference. But in this game, getting your intelligence up high will have some tremendous effects. So black mage, great for that kind of stuff. And that leaves us this slot, which is kind of my swing voter, my swing class. You could put anything here and you'd be okay. 2 warriors would probably be great. Thieves are much better in this version. If you played the original, the thief is pretty horrible, especially early on. Red mages, like I said, I don't like them much, but they'd be good. You know, they fill in dual roles, or extra white mages or black mages would probably be okay too. But I'll bring a monk. Pretty massive damage, especially later on, and cheap. Essentially, you don't have to buy them very much, so makes money much less of an issue. You have to purchase your own spells and weapons a lot. So, for names, you get to name all your characters. Let's see, how am I going to do this time? I'll just go with some popular names from some of the other Final Fantasy games for now. You know, you come up with whatever works for you. I've played the game so many times. My creativity might be a bit lacking for names. In the original game, you could only pick 4 letters for your name, which is pretty short. So, but what else we got? White mage. So I think Rosa sounds like a good one. Who are we gonna have for black mage? Oh, we'll have one from one of the newer games. I like this guy. So, pretty typical looking names probably for people that play this game. I don't know. I think that's how you spell it. Cecil, Sabin, Rosen, Vivi. So we got Final Fantasy 4 a couple times, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 9. That's, you know, that's okay split. So yeah, let's get to it. Well, we'll go through the intro one more time. I'll read it through this time again. Hopefully it's not too late. The world lies shrouded in darkness. The music is so great, you have to listen to it. So. The winds die. I've already started messing up my epic narration. The seas rage. The earth decays. Now they are actually showing you locations on the map that you will go to for those specific elements. But the people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. After a long journey, 4 young travelers did at last appear. And in the hand of each was clutched a crystal. And thus begins the first 4 Warriors of Light with crystals Final Fantasy game. You can't say it was old or copied at this point. Nowadays, modern games, sure, it's overdone. But here we are. I don't know how long this episode is, so let's just count this first episode as the introduction, and in the next video, we will get to the game. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy my Let's Play of Final Fantasy I for the Game Boy Advance. Have a great day.